Y'all will figure it out.
Would anybody like to give us a recap of last session?
We were having dinner with Hadi Boombalati.
We just sat down for dinner, actually,
Yeah.
right?
We did. And he had gone around the
No,
table.
we just finished dinner.
Oh,
He
Yeah,
came
yeah.
yes, we were doing the, yeah.
He just dismissed everybody else, and it was just us. But he had gone around the table and, like, interrogated all of us.
Yeah.
We had a nice cocktail hour in the foyer
Yeah, no one agitated anyone.
with
Nothing
all of
awkward
the
happened.
vampire brides and grooms.
There wasn't almost a murder of the poor steward.
Correct. Or
No
a
one
poor
feared
player
murdering.
character.
I like how this is a group project. Mike's
Yeah.
like, who wants to do the
Everyone.
the recap? And we're like, all together now.
That's the best case scenario.
We met
Previously on Curse of Strahd.
Anastasia and Escher and Sasha and Ludmilla and Anton and Valenta.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Wow.
sitting an awkward distance from him at the table currently.
Oh yeah, because all of them were like at the head of it. I think we now go into Strahd tries to trick us with riddles time.
Mm-hmm.
that's what it was. Yeah.
I think it's riddle hour
Yeah,
now.
I'm sure that's what I called it. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
It's like
Strahd,
a game
The
show.
Riddler von Zarovich. I believe is his
Oh my
name.
god. Strahd the Riddler.
What else
Where?
happened? Ooh. Sasha slipped Azure a note, is that right?
I
Yeah.
have something.
She slipped him something.
Not like a roofie, but a note.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know.
Right,
It
well,
could be, it
true.
could
the
be an
note is
asbestos letter.
roofied. A roof.
Not asbestos, anthrax. Jesus.
I was like,
Asbestos works,
"Man,
just
that's
it's
a
long
long
term.
con.
That's a long game.
We're gonna give you mesothelioma.
If you or one of your loved ones has been affected by mesothelioma, please call 1-800-STRAHD now.
Yeah, vampirism in this world is actually just mesothelioma. The metaphor.
Oh my god.
Did we miss anything else important, Carl, the note taker, scribe? Azure?
I don't think so. I mean, he gave us a little bit of Barovian lore.
Mm-hmm. And we confirmed a couple things, right? You confirmed that we talked about the angel slash blanking. Holy shit, I'm blanking.
Oh,
The
the guy
dude-
in Kresk.
Yeah, what's his name?
We don't know his real name, I don't think.
No,
The
Just
abbot.
Abbott.
the abbot. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah, so basically I have the like note she slipped me, but I haven't like looked at it or anything. Cause she like dropped her fork or whatever.
yep.
Very not obvious.
Yeah. So Azure, you've got a little piece of parchment in your hand. Strahd has dismissed his vampire companions, and his mood becomes a little more serious. So he's been kind of leveling, possibly prying questions at each of you, but he gets a little more, yes, almost like a stern look in his eye, perhaps. He says, now that we're alone, I wish to explore your wit and cunning. As the lord of this land, it intrigues me to learn how others might evaluate the dilemmas that power so often presents. There aren't any incorrect answers here.
I don't believe that.
He grins a bit and says, I assure you, but you may reveal a part of yourself depending on how you answer these. So, imagine this. You're the liege and master of a vassal lord, and you descend down to collect this year's taxes from your vassal's village. When you return, your accountant reports that the year's taxes are woefully short, and when asked to explain, the lord says that the harvests have been lean and a sickness has plagued the village. Yet, as you stand before him, you notice that the lord wears a fine gold chain around his neck and a new wool cloak with buttons crafted of silver. What would you do?
And he's not directing this to anyone specific. He's just looking for someone to answer.
Yeah, he's putting it out to the group.
I think I can take this one. Strahd, you theoretically, if you were a lord, right? Wouldn't you know if the crop was indeed poor and a sickness had befallen your people?
Sorry, I didn't expect you to turn a question around. I just put a huge bite of food in my mouth.
I mean, if being a lord, you're required to, take care of your people, protect them, make sure, look out for their well-being. You would certainly know that there'd be sickness and the crop yields would be poor. So I don't think that would be a surprise.
Well,
Yeah.
as a liege lord, I don't know that I would know every happening of a village, but say that I did. Say that I knew him to be lying. Or you, in this example, knew him to be lying. What would you do?
And it's 100% confirmed that you're lying and you have proof?
Well, that's for you to decide.
Well, I think the question would be is if you know 100%. If you don't know 100%, you use your resources to make sure that the person that is collecting your income isn't skimming from the top, let's say. And if they are, then they need to be dealt with accordingly. Preferably dungeons. Dungeons are good.
We do like a good dungeon.
And dragons.
Nah. Dragons not so much. Or at least that's what I've heard, and I'm gonna kind of wink at Strahd.
I would be worried that my tax collector would, if he's willing to steal from me, that he would be possibly stealing from others as well. And that isn't somebody that you would want in your fiefdom. I come from a place where we take care of each other, and if somebody is not taking care of everyone else, then that's a problem.
And, Miss Eliana, how would you deal with someone?
Well, as a community, we would have to come to a decision about how to hold people accountable when they are violating the commune.
He nods. And he says,
Of course, if I believe and can prove that he is indeed stealing.
I have something to add here. You know, if I have that suspicion that he's stealing and he's lying, you gotta maybe put him on a trial of his peers. Go talk to the villagers, see what they say about their taxes. Feel like if you can get the word of the villagers that they all pay their taxes, then you can have a full burden of proof that he is lying and stealing and be dealt with accordingly.
so very pragmatic of all of you. Well, very well. Another hypothetical. Imagine that you are the monarch of a realm. And one day, a fearsome archmage raises an army of the undead. What is going on?
Hmm?
Is there a kitty cat?
Oh, is that what I was
There's
saying?
a baby.
Cat?
Or a
There was a
baby?
baby. Yeah, there was a baby.
I'll just start it over. Imagine that you are the monarch of a realm, and one day a fearsome archmage raises an army of the undead in rebellion against you. As he and his hordes approach your keep, you have the opportunity to parley with him upon the drawbridge of your castle. What would you do?
I mean, I like to choose violence, but that's not always what everyone else thinks is best.
Tell me more, Miss Cadwin. How would
mean,
you choose violence?
Well, if I just kind of like to hit people with my great axe. So if they're not a known friendly, I might overreact. This is why I surround myself with these lovely other people at the table, as they tend to have a better sense of the world around them than I do.
Yeah, sometimes we have to talk Catwin down from attacking everything.
I mean, Shaw likes to attack things too, but he's usually pretty good at attacking people with his words.
Yeah, I'd certainly prefer to agitate first. Just because you can tell a lot about a person by how they respond to words. Words can be harmless or harmful, depending on your mood and how you take it.
Can I tell if Strahd is if these are actually hypothetical, or is there any hint that maybe these are things that he's actually done before?
You can make an insight check.
Hot damn. First rolls a nat 20.
How insightful am I, sir?
Yeah, with an at 20. I mean, these definitely aren't just like whims of questions. Like he's definitely thought about what he's asking you, perhaps because these are experiences that he's had before, or because he's trying to get something out of you. But there's definitely, he's not just like fancifully asking questions. There's definitely like some strong intent behind what he's asking.
Well, if an archmage is raising an army of the dead, that requires some pretty strong necrotic magic, does it not?
It would, yes.
And I would assume that that's showing a pretty strong inclination towards violence on their part. Why is somebody raising an army against me? Why would somebody do that in this example?
Well, if they're bringing an army of the undead to your castle gates, I assume they want your lands or your power.
Jaw is very quiet right now.
Did I wrong them? Did I do something wrong?
It is not for me to answer, but for you. Could you have potentially wronged this archmage?
I would think if you are in power in a land, there's always people who try to take it from you that want that power, even if you have done nothing wrong to them. So it's more about defending your land and your family in this case. This person obviously has very ill intent, so I would do anything I could to defend and not let them
Also-
wrest power.
Let's mix it up. Did you know they were coming? What traps have you set for them just in case things do go wrong? Are you prepared? Are you prepared for a fight? I mean,
Alright.
if undead is coming at me, I would certainly be prepared.
Very well. All right. One last question for you then. Imagine again that you are a monarch, and as you sleep in your bed, an assassin slips into your chambers, but they stumble and make a sound and are frightened away by your guards before they can slit your throat. What would you do?
Figure out who hired them.
At
And
this
at that
point,
point,
are they out of our grasp, or I would go after them and try to capture them and figure out the intent behind an attack like this. I wouldn't kill them immediately because I'd like to know if there are other assassins potentially on the way.
But they'd probably be dead by the time I'm done with them.
I see. Well,
Why is everybody stealing from me and trying to attack me? I don't get it.
such are the burdens of power, Miss Eliana.
I'm looking.
For example, He says, for example, I have suffered the attentions of one such assassin quite recently, in fact. Viper by the name of Rudolf von Richten. And he kind of carefully surveys all of you for a reaction to that name. And he says, to my regret, however, my servants were unable to apprehend him, and I believe him to still be at large. Have you heard any whisperings of his presence in your travels through my domain?
Was Von Richten's first name Rudolph? That was something different. Is it somebody different, or is it the over the table?
We knew him by another name.
I know Rictavio,
That was his
but
cover
was
name.
his real first name was Rudolph? I didn't. For some reason, I thought it was someone different.
Yeah, no, it's
But it was-
Rudolf van Richten is his actual name. Rictavia was his cover.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought his real first name was something different than both of those.
Yeah, you're right. It's Bruce.
No, maybe I don't know. Maybe there's another Von Richten we don't know about. So
Bruce von Richten.
I
Bruce
just wanted to
von
make sure.
Richten.
Bruce von Richten.
Okay.
Bruce and
Oh.
Rudolph. Bruce and Rudy.
All right. Thanks for confirming. I just
But
wasn't sure.
no,
It was a
it's
while ago.
yeah, same Van Richten you guys know, down in Valaki.
Um.
I'm really bad with names, so I don't know.
So, what was his exact question again? At the end of that.
Yes, if you have heard any whisperings of his presence in your travels through his domain.
I think we've heard whispers, but whispers are just whispers, aren't they?
They were. If anything, it was early in our travels. Nothing recently though.
So you wouldn't know where to find him.
Honestly, no.
Gonna need a deception check.
That's fair.
Come on, sneaky boy.
Nick. Ionis, do we know where to find him? Is he in that village outside Valaki? I can't remember. It's been a while.
That ain't it.
Oh no, and you have a +4. God damn it.
Rip.
I'm just actually too stupid to know. And I love that for me.
As you say, honestly, no.
Discord is being weird.
Okay, you good?
My Discord is being weird.
All
Can
right.
you hear us?
Can you hear me
Yes.
now?
Yeah, I just started.
Okay.
All right, we're good.
Just 'cause that
That's
roll-
not the deception check I wanted.
He says, as you say, honestly, no. He just ever so slightly raises an eyebrow at you. And he kind of abruptly claps his hands together and stands and says, "Well, I believe you asked for a tour of my castle, and I feel inclined to oblige. You have been marvelous guests in
Does
entertaining
Shaw
my."
know that he knows that he just kind of caught him in a lie?
You can make an insight check.
Yeah, I would like to.
With the 12, yeah, you're not sure.
Yeah.
So, are we done? Are we done talking? Having our dinner riddles?
He smiles and chuckles and says, "Why yes, Miss Eliana, I believe. And it's been like a while. Like you all have probably been finished eating for a while as the conversation kind of lingered on. And he says, "You have been most accommodating in answering me my little questions. Again, it's been quite some time since we've had the honor of hosting such esteemed guests."
I'm interested to see the castle grounds.
Before we go, I mean, obviously you've been and are continue to be a gracious host. Do you mind if we ask you a question?
But of course.
And this is just throwing a scenario your way. Imagine you and your closest companions are out and essentially minding their own business, having a drink, and all of a sudden they're kidnapped to a different plane of existence with no way of escape. What would you do?
He kind of looks at you quizzically. And he says, "Well, I think I would do everything I could to try and find my way out."
I think that's the best response we've had all night. All right, to the
As we're
tour.
getting up, I'm gonna try to stay a little toward. I want to be the last one out of the room. If he is kind of leading the pack, I kind of want to see where everybody's going.
Yeah, he is like walking over towards the door because the doors were closed when everybody left. He is like walking over towards the door to open them.
All right, like as soon as I see him start looking at the door, I want to see if I can take a quick peek at that note. Like if he's looking at the door, like with his back to me.
Yes, you certainly can. It is a very short note that simply says, "Wait for me here."
Okay.
And he steps to the door, kind of throws them both open wide, and then turns and says, "Come, let me show you the castle."
Certainly. Do you mind if I take some of this to go?
He says, "You are more than welcome to bring a bite along with you if you prefer."
Perfect. Shaw will just kind of like grab things that he can eat while walking,
Right.
just because he's essentially trying to be the focus, so that if we need to do anything else sneakily, we can, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, like if someone's at the table and they're chewing loudly, and you can't not help but just listen to them chew loudly, and you can't focus on it, that's what Shaw wants to do.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then he'll follow.
You just eat, like with a whole turkey leg or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, are we not coming back to this room for dessert? No?
Um,
Oh, I'm not. Oh, hold on.
I'm looking for something. Sorry. He says, I can arrange to have a dessert brought to you here if that's what you would like.
What was that, Mav?
He'll
Say
bring
that
a
again.
dessert here if you want.
After
Oh,
the tour, then we come back here for some dessert.
I love dessert.
Yes.
Or, I mean, I don't mind having dessert now if we can catch up with you too. I'll stay with Ilyana for dessert and we can catch up here in a minute.
Is
You-
Shaw very clearly like, can I insight check him? Like, Carl, can I insight check Azure to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, it seems like Ilyana wanted to stay for dessert, so I didn't want her to be alone. That was kind of my intent on what I was saying.
Strahd kind of turns and looks over his shoulder at you and says, you don't wish to see the majesty of Castle Ravenloft?
Oh, I definitely do. I just didn't want Ilyana to stay alone if she was going to have dessert now, but if we're going to come back here, I will come back later.
It's up to you. Should you wish it, I would more than gladly have the servant bring some dessert up for you now, if you would like.
Great.
I'd love
Then
some
let's
dessert.
go. Catlin, come on.
Oh, you can message me in a few minutes after we finished our dessert.
Okay.
Yeah, as he steps out of the room, you see where's this token? There it is. Anton's kind of standing
Such a creepy mask.
At least it's not the horse.
Oh, yeah.
Anton's standing kind of in waiting, and as Strahd strides out, he says, would you mind bringing the guests in the hall some dessert? I believe they are not quite satisfied with what we had to offer for dinner. And then he walks out towards the entryway, and Anton runs downstairs.
I will whisper to Catwin, using message just to not make it obvious. He'll just say, I don't know what they're on about, but let's just let it roll.
As soon as they kind of leave the room, I'll show Ilyana the note under the table. And then I'll just tell her that it came from Sasha, was that her name? Sasha.
That's why you want to stay? Not for dessert?
I mean, a little bit of both.
Can I get up and check around the table just to see if anything's odd about where any of the vampires were staying?
What are you looking for?
Chalices of blood.
They
Or
Just like blood, chalices of blood everywhere.
I don't know, weapons under the table.
There's a fish tank, but it's actually just blood.
make a
It's actually
make a survival check. No, make an investigation check. 21. With the 21, they all took their goblets with them. There are no remaining goblets on the table. But you do know one odd thing, though they all served themselves food, it all appears to be completely untouched.
I mean, not surprising. Except for the second in command, he ate his food, right?
Yes, Rahadin did eat.
Rahadin.
Also check out this organ / piano.
Yeah. Oh, also, since you specifically asked, no, you don't. There are no like shotguns taped to the other side of the table or anything.
No, like daggers.
No. I mean, unless you count like I don't know, steak knives.
No, like bits of, material components for a quick spell. I'd assume that if you were a magic wielder, you'd just have like little pouches like attached to the table.
I don't know.
Like,
Do
so
you
that
do you do you do that?
I mean, we gotta have our material components on us at all times, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd, keep a little extra to, moonbeam at the table.
Jeez.
No, I think we need a better centerpiece. Moonbeam.
Moonbeam. You criticized my food, Moonbeam.
Is this a fireplace or just like a mantle?
No, there's a fireplace at each end. There's a fire going in both of them. Eliana, you said you wanted to look at the organ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the note and throw it in the fireplace.
Okay. Eliana, make another investigation check for me, please. Perception investigation check.
Yeah, I'm gonna see is there anything special about this organ, and are there any secret compartments? Not as good.
Yeah, with a 13, nope. It's just a big old organ. It's got some creepy statues on it, though, because here's the picture.
Da-na-na.
Ooh.
Oh, damn. That's much more epic.
Oh my.
I just picture Kay sitting there playing the organ.
We should have asked him to play the organ for us.
There you go.
I was gonna play the organ for him, but he ended the dinner really fast.
Showing off your organ playing skills.
I would have tried.
I'm imagining you rolling like a nat 20 on performance.
I love it.
Do we all have like a -1 in performance?
I have a +1. Thank you very much.
I have a +1.
I have a +1.
I'm the only negative then.
Yeah, you did have.
I mean, I've been alone by myself. I'm not very good at the whole charisma thing.
No, you definitely aren't.
I need like a 5th screen right now.
Infinite screens.
You need to be like one of those dedicated operation centers for catastrophes where it's just a
Yeah.
wall.
Wall of screens.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful right now.
We've reached threat level Strahd.
Does it look like the organ gets played a lot?
With that 13, it's not like covered in dust. It probably gets played a fair amount.
I press one of the keys.
Sure.
Everyone dies.
Game ends.
All of these statues come to
Tactical
life.
nuke incoming.
Oh my god, is the organ a mimic?
Don't
No.
give him any ideas. Each organ pipe is a mimic.
It is now.
Press
It's
the wrong
it's
key.
all mimics all the way down.
So many mimics.
Is it really loud?
Yes, it is. You've heard church organs. You, Carly, have heard church organs. It's loud. It's real loud.
I recoil like not expecting it to be that loud, and I scurry back to my chair.
Well, that was quite the musical number.
I didn't think it would be that loud.
I mean, look at all those pipes.
That's what she said. Carla.
Look at them
Pipes.
pipes.
You all following Strahd had made it like to the middle of the grand entryway, and you just hear like a single just booming note from the organ in the room behind you.
I think Strahd will just go. "Ugh. Do you play much?
I do. It sounds like whichever of your companions ventured over there doesn't, though.
Yeah, I'll put 5 gold that's Eliana.
He just says, I see.
What is this crest in the middle here? Is that your family crest?
Indeed, that is the Von Zarovich crest. The symbol of my
How
house.
far back does it go? Generation-wise, I mean.
About 10 feet. And he points over here.
Shaw will giggle. Be like, nice.
No metric
Chuck
system.
giggle?
Yeah.
All right, well, where to first?
Where does he take y'all first? This, guys, y'all, this map
Is massive.
has
Yeah.
88
A few billion rooms.
88 rooms that I have
God.
to try and figure out where you
Oh,
all
no.
are and where you're
That's-
going.
Too many rooms. Too big.
It's a whole ass castle.
Oh God.
So you're gonna have to bear with me
Wow.
because I don't have enough screens to be able to look at all this at once.
I'm glad he didn't half-ass his castle.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He strides over to the store and which thing do okay, so here I hang on, let me figure out a better way to do this. I can't do this tapping back and forth thing. It was just not gonna work. This one over here. Hey, this will work. Like this, yeah. Okay.
Hey, Strahd. Question for you. You know how you were asking us questions earlier? I was wondering if I could tell you a joke.
He like pauses with his hand on the door, and he just kind of like half turns and says, "I suppose."
Okay.
I really wanted to be like, I love jokes.
What? What do you say when you lose 25% of your roof?
He just kind of looks at you.
Atwin, through a giggle, goes, "Oof."
He
It's so funny.
he smiles indulgently and opens the door.
I'm
Joe's not
crying.
laughing at the joke. He's laughing at Catwin laughing at the joke.
I am actually crying right now. So funny.
If Catwin just keep telling bad jokes, then that be Catwin's thing, please.
Yes.
It's my current favorite bad joke. I've been telling it to everyone.
Your job now is
Every
to
time we're in any sort of building.
anytime we interact with somebody, you should just tell jokes.
That's the joke. It's just that joke.
Just that one over and over again.
Yeah, it's just anytime I meet someone new. Oh, I think Carl pinged me and was like, "You should tell your roof joke to drop." And I was like, "Ooh, baby, let's go."
As
my
he
fa-
as he smiles indulgently, pushes over the door, and kind of turns and steps into this hallway, and he says, "Well, You will find that this castle, though once quite grand, has fallen into a bit of disrepair, and so your oof joke might be more appropriate than you think.
I mean, it looks like it's so big in here. I don't know how you can keep track of everything.
He just smiles and says, I've lived here for quite some time. As he turns and he walks into this hall, you see that this is a big, like, grand hallway. There are life-size statues of knights that line the hallway here. Above them, stretching up into the darkness, you just see like dust and cobwebs up in this ceiling, and as you walk down the hall, the stone eyes of the knights seem to follow you as you walk.
The stone knights follow them as they walk.
The eyes do.
Oh, the eyes do. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, the eyes do. And then you notice that above the doorway at the end of the hall here, you see an emblem made of bronze that looks like either a rising or a setting sun.
Does it look that to be like that of like the Morning Lord?
It does.
Shaw will just say, I didn't peg you as the religious type. Especially the Morning Lord.
Hang on. He says, I have never found much use for faith in other things or other creatures. Far better, it seems, to place one's faith entirely in oneself and to master one's own fate without reliance upon others. He says, but I don't begrudge those who prefer their deities. And he looks at Irina as he says that. By the way, the only torches were like out. Like there are no torches, and it's like getting pretty dark at the end of this hallway. Shaw
will just look at him and take his goggles of night out of his bag and just say, I mean, I hate to do this to you, but do you prefer these or would you like a torch? I don't do so well.
He looks to Irina as well and says, oh, well, my eyes are well adjusted to the shadows that lurk in these halls, but a mobile source of light might be kinder to you and your companion's senses. And he steps over and picks an unlit torch out of a bracket on the wall and hands it to Irina.
And Shaw uses tinder box to light it.
Absolutely.
He will still put his goggles like up on his head though.
Like up on yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've got your sunglasses pushed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Strahd opens the door into this grand chapel. And he kind of I'm grabbing the fog blocks. That's not what I want to do. I want Strahd. As he kind of steps in, you actually do see a bit of moonlight filtering in through these tall, mostly broken out and partially boarded up windows of stained glass. You can hear a few bats fluttering way up in the top of the rafters. And there's a balcony running the length of kind of like up behind you here. The pews kind of just lay scattered about, just covered in dust. You see an altar over here. There is a stamp on the altar that is not actually here, so I had to put this little extra thing over it. That's why it kind of looks funky.
Okay.
I couldn't take it off the map, unfortunately. So there's just this one altar. Sides of it are carved with these angelic figures.
Oopsie, sorry.
And as Strahd kind of steps out into the chapel, his footstones echoing on the parquet floor, he says, I recall the day Prefect Cyril Romulich first dedicated the sacred hall to the glory of the Morning Lord. Each man and woman had such faith in the power of his consecration, yet behold what it has become. Kind of shakes his head a bit. Ghost gif is very fitting.
That's what it looks like.
And he kind of turns back and he looks at you, Shaw, after having kind of mentioned the Morning Lord. He says, what is it that you have faith in?
My friends, me, something that we can certainly agree on.
He nods and he looks to Irina and says, and you, my dear friend, I see that you have dedicated yourself to the Morning Lord. And Irina kind of stands up straight and nods. And she says, kind of loudly, she says, I have. He just kind of shakes his head and makes a bit of like a tisk tisk type sound, and then he turns to you, Catwin, and says, what about you, Catwin? What do you have faith in?
Similar to Shaw, my friends, myself, and my great axe.
As you say this, he smiles and says, I see. All right, let's see, where does the tour go next? Okay, about this time, once y'all are kind of deep in here. By the way, I meant to mention this, I forgot. As you walked into the chapel, the doors like swung closed behind you.
Gotcha. I think
Not
at
in-
some point,
Not in like
Shaw-
not in like an ominous way or anything. Yeah, more of just like they're hinged that way.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. As we're kind of, because I mean, Shaw would probably be like pacing around and looking at things because it is a tour, right?
Yes. Oh, by the way, I attached Irina's token to you just so I wouldn't forget to
That's
drag her along.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can do that.
Put Irina on
Um,
follow.
Yeah. And Shaw would just probably at some point just be like, there's just so much space here. Don't you get bored?
He he kind of chuckles and he says, "Oh, I have plenty to fill my time."
Yeah, but like, and again, forgive me if this is offensive, but like, you've been doing this a long time. It's gotta get old. I mean, if I eat the same meal for more than 3 days in a row, I get bored. I can't imagine.
So many beats.
Hundreds of years.
He continues to smile and just says, "Oh, I find the ways to fill my time. It's
Do you like games? Bets?
I do, in fact."
Huh.
He kind of starts walking over towards this alcove over here.
Oh, follow. As he's like going up, is there like any like damage to any of these things, or is it just it's just been sitting for a couple hundred years type situation?
Yeah, it looks like it's just been sitting for a few hundred years.
But it's not like things are damaged. There's like axe marks in the pews. Like there's not.
No, it looks, just looks like more like neglect and
Gotcha.
disuse.
Gotcha.
About this time, Azur and Eliana, token. You hear the door into the dining hall slowly creak open, and you see Sasha walking back in carrying a tray laden with pies and cupcakes.
Oh, that's
Wonderful.
pie.
I
I
need
nod
more.
at her like knowingly too because of the note she left. Like kind of that like we're here to talk look.
Let me find the thing. Here it is. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Where did the... All right, hang on. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so she walks over and kind of sets the tray of desserts down in front of you, and then kind of steps back, and sorry, there's two places that I need the information from, and it's in two very different spots in this document for some reason.
This is like one of those times where I definitely don't envy the job of a dungeon master. Because it's like, bro, the fact that you like know all this, plus you like at least know where to find it. If you don't, like, it's so hard. You're so good at it.
Listening to them play Eve of Ruin, Gratua is also very good at it. Like, I feel like she's always prepared. Every once
Did
in
you
a while,
guys have a
she'll-
PC death yesterday?
I almost Tell almost died, but it
Oh,
thankfully
Jesus.
was she misread the amount of dice she was supposed to be rolling.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she rolled 3, 6, 12, 18. She rolled 18 d8 instead of 9 d8.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
quite a big
doubled.
difference.
Like, doubled it.
So
by
very
accident.
meaty.
Yeah, so
That's
initially
still a spicy meatball.
I thought it was 165 damage, which even though Tell was at 71 out of 94 health, that would have taken him to negative 85, which is dead. Like,
That's
Yeah,
dead.
there's no
dead.
coming back. Like,
No.
instantly death.
So thankfully it was just 65 damage, not 165 damage. So no PC deaths. Tell was floating around at 4 HP for a little while though.
Hey.
Happens.
Okay. Let's see. I did realize. Let me find. Okay.
Okay.
You know what one shot you're gonna do, Shaw?
I think I'll probably figure that out on Friday, because
Okay.
Carl's coming down.
Oh, okay.
Bringing him the book so he can look through without me like reading the options.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That way you like don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just send you the digital document now.
If you want, you can. I don't know. I might not have time though, so we'll see.
It's really busy.
Really busy. Lots of things.
Deception check.
Natural 20.
I had a few prepared. I had one that I had tried to adjust to do with Mav just like one-on-one, and I had him like go through it. We were driving down to Florida one year, and that's
Yeah.
like an 8-hour drive, and so I had him. He was like going through the one shot that I had adjusted for like just him, and he was just like having me roll, and I was telling him like what his rolls were and like
That's
what
fun.
that meant, and so like we kind of did a little one shot like on the way. It took maybe like an hour or two to do it because it was a short little thing,
Yeah.
and I definitely killed his character, but then pretended not to kill his character.
Benevolent DM.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want you to die. I even gave him like an NPC to like help him.
I can see it, Carl. Yeah.
Sick. Alright, we can start looking at it now.
But I could probably, I could run that for you all, even though, Mav would kind of know the ending, and then there was another one that I was supposed to, that I prepared, and like kind of loaded everything into. I'd have to be taught how to use Owlbear and do all that stuff though.
Well, that's easy. Okay, the loading screen has finished. Sorry, I did read all of this and then like I forgot. So, yeah, after she sets the trays down, she kind of steps back apprehensively and looks over her shoulder to make sure the door is closed. And then says, kind of quietly, she says, "Why is it that you have come to Castle Ravenloft?"
Well, there's someone here we need to try to help out, and we want to try to figure out a way out of Barovia.
As you mentioned that there's someone here, that needs help. You see her red eyes under her veil go a little wide in surprise, and she says, "Of whom do you speak?"
How can we know that we can trust you?
She glances over her shoulder again, and then she quickly walks around the table, and she reaches down with her foot and presses one of the pedals on the organ, and rather than letting out a droning note, you hear a click, and then the whole keyboard of the organ slides out from the wall a couple of feet, revealing a passage behind it. And
Cool.
she kind of holds out her hand and says, "We can't speak freely here, but I will show you. I will take you somewhere where we can."
And I'll say, okay, after you. Ileana?
I take a cupcake because it's probably hard to walk with a piece of pie. And I follow.
The frick is the guy's name?
I'm also very careful not to drop any crumbs as I go past the organ.
Right. Ooh, cool.
Once the two of you step in here, she closes. There's like a door back here as well, and she closes that behind you, and you hear the organ sliding back into place. And then she kind of steps out into the room, and you realize that you're standing in like the heart, like the bowels of the walls of the castle, essentially, like the turret walls. You can see out into the courtyard and towards the entrance through these small little arrow slits. One oddity in this room, though, are that there are just dozens of mirrors of various shapes and sizes, kind of leaned just on the floor, leaned against the wall.
Room of requirement.
And Sasha's just kind of standing in the middle of the room with her hands clasped in front of her.
Does she have a reflection?
No. You don't need to make an insight check or anything for that. Perception check. There's a whole lot of mirrors in here, and she's standing in the middle of the room, and not a single one of them is reflecting her.
I mean, not that busy.
I am a
Do I have a
little
reflection?
confused.
Sorry.
Would I know that vampires don't have reflections?
Make a history check. You might be slightly confused.
I am shocked. I am looking all around at every mirror, and I'm like trying to move to see if I can see her in the mirrors.
Some of them are like hand-sized mirrors. Like you could like little handheld mirror. Like you could pick one up if you wanted to.
I put the cupcake in my pouch.
I'm gonna do a history check too, just to see if I would know. 13.
Yeah. Azur, you know that vampires are undead and therefore don't have reflections.
I take out the mirror that I have from my pack, and I look in it at myself, and then I try to point it at her and look to see
Stealthy.
and I try to look to see if I can see it in the reflection in the mirror that I have.
I'll kind of nudge
I'm-
Ileana as she does this. I'm like, you do know that if you're a vampire, you do not have a reflection, right, Ileana?
What? No, how? Why?
That's not a mystery, I know, but I just know that they don't have reflections.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I put the mirror away and I take the cupcake back out, but it's a little smooshed now.
It is definitely a little squished. The icing's kind of like half smashed off. Um, um,
What? Did they put all did you put all the mirrors in here?
she kind of sighs a bit. She says, I did not. But
Probably the mirrors from the castle.
she nods. She says, yes. Sometimes it can be a stark reminder of your suffering. Constantly looking in mirrors and not being able to see yourself.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Oh yes, the reason we're here.
Yeah, go ahead.
What did you? Why would you want to talk with us?
She says, I wish to know why you came to Castle Ravenloft, because I see only two potential options. One, you're fools who don't understand what it is that they're getting themselves into. Or two, you seek to defy Strahd in some way, whether that is to steal from him or to defile his castle or something else, I don't know, but those are the only two options, and I am sincerely hoping that it's not the first.
I
Well,
mean,
I like to
we were
think
also
that we're not.
Oh.
I like to think that we're not fools. I also kind of want to inside check her just to see
Sure.
if she's being 100% truthful on those things. Yeah.
Yeah. She does not appear to be lying.
Okay.
She seems sincere.
Okay.
She's so truthful.
Eliana also just kind of goes, we were also invited here. And it didn't really seem like we were allowed to say no.
She nods and says,
That is true.
and that I understand. And if that is the only reason you are here, that puts you firmly into the first category.
Well, we do
But-
have other motives.
She nods and she says, this is what I had hoped and what I had suspected. And perhaps your other motives and my motives align.
Well, if you are able to help us, I'll let you know of probably the more pressing of our motives, which must be done tonight. And I'll say, is there a dungeon here where Strahd keeps prisoners?
She nods.
Does there happen to be anyone in that dungeon at the moment?
She nods. She says, there are a few prisoners in that dungeon at this moment, yes.
Okay. Well, I think one of them's probably of particular interest to us. I believe his name might be Emil. Are you familiar?
She shakes her head. She says, I don't know that name. There is one prisoner that I have met and have a fondness for, and I wish to see her freed from this castle.
Are there any prisoners who are also werewolves?
She kind of cocks her head a bit, kind of like she's thinking. She says, again, I'm not sure. I don't have details on all of them, but it's certainly possible.
What is it that you want, Sasha?
She says, I would be willing to help you if you will be willing to help me.
Well, we don't know what it is you want help with.
She says, well, you've just touched on it. As I mentioned, there's a woman in the dungeons. Her name is Gertruda. She's a villager from Barovia. She is Gertruda, yeah. She is alive for now, but I fear for her life should she linger here any longer. She's asked me to help free her, and she's asked me to help free her if I can, which was a request that until now I had no hope of fulfilling.
Why would you be inclined to free her? Who is she to you?
She says, she's just a prisoner that Strahd captured. She was traveling the road from Barovia to Vallaki, and well, we have. And she kind of looks down a bit ashamedly, and she says, we have needs that can only be met by a living donor. But those donors will eventually die. And I don't know why, but I have gotten to know this Gertruda a bit, and I want to do what I can for her.
Can I tell if she has, like, is the tone of her voice indicating that she loves Gertruda? Like, can I tell if she's showing
you
affection?
You can make an insight check.
Dang.
No, this seems to be more of like, I'll tell you this, with the 25, Sasha seems like she was probably a strong woman once, but she just seems completely beaten down, because she sort of vacillates between this very like timid and demure person and this like very confident and brazen person. And with that 25, no, this just seems like she's trying to get back some semblance of control.
Well, do you know a way that would be we could accomplish this without raising too much suspicion?
She nods. she says, I'm willing to tell you all that I can about the castle's contents, its layout, and all of the various inhabitants here, and I also know of a time when Strahd will be away from the keep. I think this might be an opportunity for you to take what it is that you seek, as well as helping Gertruda escape.
Mhm. Well, we also will need to have help with our issues, and right now it seems like we still don't have a lead on where this Emil might be.
Yeah.
One other
We're in
piece
terrible
of
space.
information I have is he was a pledge to Strahd from Kirill, who was the giant black werewolf. I don't know if you've met him. Basically to show that Kirill was in league with Strahd. So I don't know if that helps for you to know where I might find him, or if he's still alive at all. But anything would greatly help us and the whole country of Barovia.
Uh, she she nods. She says, he's most likely in the dungeons, deep within the castle keep. That is where he keeps his most what's the adjective I want to use? Hostile guests.
Would it be probably getting him out would be more difficult than Gertruda then, from what I'm understanding.
She nods. She says, yes, Gertruda is held on the third floor in the King's Suites. Let's cut back over to the tour, because I think the tour would be progressing while these conversations are happening.
Yep.
So Strahd, now I gotta go all the way back up here. North Chapel Access Creek Lake. Where's my map?
I'm imagining it's like the Soderbergh Ocean's 11 kind of scene change happening on the screen. We're
Yeah,
kinda going down.
exactly. Yeah, he leads you all up these stairs here.
Bing bong.
And we'll have to go. Oh. Scenes. Strahd. Castle.
And scene.
Is this 2? 2? 2. 2.
Oh, this is that balcony you're talking about?
Yes. Give me a moment.
I'm gonna go bio quick since I'm technically not here anyways.
That
Not
works.
here. We don't know him.
What just happened? Hello?
Huh?
There it goes.
Hmm?
Okay.
Hmm?
The fog was not cooperating.
Uncooperative fog. So we're like right here.
Yeah, you're coming out of these stairs right here.
You
Do
big.
you wanna attach what's her face?
Yeah, because I gotta find out my tokens again. Strayed. Jesus, why does he come in so big? What the
Oh,
fuck?
he's so big.
He's a dragon.
No, why are there two of them?
There's two of them.
This is
He's
getting
like,
out
don't
of
ignore
hand.
me. Look at me. I am Strahd now.
So big. Oh my god. That was hilarious.
Who's so
Bro,
big? What's so big?
You missed Strahd appearing and being just the
The
biggest
size
boy
of
in the world.
basically the map.
I thought for some reason you saw the skeleton of Ironmost.
No.
Probably the same size though.
All right, where's the next level of this floor on this map? Oh my god, just ridiculous. Yeah, he kind of leads you up around this balcony and into this hallway.
Lagging behind. There she goes.
My mouse stopped working, which is really helpful.
Oh, so good.
So why start with the chapel then? Is that just kind of the peak of the architecture, or why there first?
Say that again. Sorry.
Shaw's gonna ask him why we went this way first, essentially.
Like through the chapel.
Yeah, why the chapel first?
He shrugs. He says, "It just seemed the grandest way to start the tour."
I get that. I remember in the my previous home, I always had a route that I took when I just needed to think about something. It always felt so natural, so I get that.
He nods. As you get to about halfway down the hall, why is this so disjointed? Oh my god! All right, hang on. I gotta go find something else. You notice a tapestry hanging on the wall here, and the tapestry depicts. Let me find the description. 17 pages away.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's like a, you see the iron rod kind of bolted, and the tapestry is it's a little moth eaten, but you can make out the depiction, and it's knights on horseback, and they're charging across a battlefield under a blood red sky, and the lead knight rides a black horse and wears a black fur-lined cloak and dark gray armor, and his visored helm is shaped like a wolf's head, and his sword glows with what appears to be sunlight.
Can I just stop and look at it?
Yeah, and in fact, Strahd's kind of stopping to turn to it as well. And as he notices you stop to look at it, he says, "Do you know who this tapestry depicts?"
Is that you?
he chuckles, and he says, "No, alas, no. That is my father, King Barov, leading his fearsome knights into glorious battle."
So in a way, it is you. Were you one of the knights?
He shakes his head. In this battle, no, I was not.
But I'm sure you most certainly had your battles, right?
Oh, I did.
Now, I've never seen a sword. Is that glowing? What is that?
He nods. He says, "Indeed, you have a keen eye." And he says, "That sword was the Bright Blade, fashioned for my
Blade.
yeah, it was fashioned for my father from the hilt of an elven moonblade, and it had a crystal blade imbued with the radiance of the Morning Lord. It was broken long ago, however."
And you didn't try to repair it? It's your father's blade.
He just kind of shakes his head and turns to move on.
You miss him?
He like pauses for a moment in his stride, and he says, "I do." And then he continues walking.
I'll follow.
He opens this door. Oh my god! It just there's one thing I don't like about Owl Barrel is you can't move fog and tokens at the same time.
Excuse you. I
It's
heard
me.
that. Yeah.
Wasn't me. Nah, Discord's usually pretty good about it, so you probably didn't hear it.
You're right. We didn't hear
It
it.
just didn't happen.
I
I heard
cannot be
nothing.
gaslit any further this month than I've
This
already
week?
been by like the government. So like, no, Cameron.
I
That's
Well-
not how Cameron works.
That would have been cheap
I've hit my limit for being gaslit for the month of January. It's really upsetting.
Josh just hanging out in the hallway.
got it, Irina. Just
I
chilling.
got her. Oh, what?
Why is the floor purple?
I don't know. We're probably gonna die on this floor.
Floor's a mimic.
Can you fucking imagine? Oh my god.
The whole house is a
hate-
mimic.
Everything is a mimic. Don't go
As
to
you as you walk into the room, you realize you're looking out through the through a stained glass window, which is why the floor is purple. as you see a bit of moonlight trickling in.
I feel like all of this would be
oh my God.
very pretty if it wasn't like
Oh, it would be
Detailed.
absolutely
like-
yes, it'd be absolutely gorgeous.
if Strahd wasn't helping. This would be gorgeous.
Quote, air quotes, helping.
Helping. Yeah, I didn't know how to phrase that.
As you notice, as you step in again, so yeah, there's the stained glass window here, many portions of it broken out, and you hear the wind kind of howling outside. In fact, you see a couple just arcs of lightning, and you can see the rain is really starting to come down out there at this point. And in fact, you hear a crack of rolling thunder.
It's getting nasty out there.
Strahd nods. Is this? It's quite the storm brewing, isn't it?
Yeah, all the more appreciative of your hospitality. That's the word I was looking for.
Say that again. Sorry.
All the more appreciative of your hospitality.
He says, indeed, you wouldn't want to be out on the road tonight, would you?
Now, again, just because there's no sense walking around it. Now, the druids, they did something like this, right? Is this them again?
He shakes his head. He says, no, I think this is just a normal storm.
Fair enough. What did you think of us? You know, playing.
He smiles and he says, well, I think the druids got what was coming to them.
They pissed you off, didn't they?
He smiles and says, no, I believe they were only trying to show me affection, but in their zealotry, they went a bit overboard.
I mean, what's the point of trying to destroy the one thing that, you know, not the one thing, one of the many things I'm sure that people enjoy about Barovia, the wine. Just seems bad for everyone, right?
He nods, says, that's one way to look at it. He looks around the room for a moment, and as he does, you all notice that there are unlit sconces on the wall, and just like everything is just like completely covered in cobwebs up here.
Can Shaw grab the torch and light some of them?
Sure.
Like, you know, just like...
Oh, like some of the sconces? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fucking see in this place, so
Yep.
he wants to admire the beauty.
Yeah, some of them take, some of them don't, but you're welcome to light a couple. Having not been kept up, they don't all have charcoal or oil in them. One thing you do notice is that the throne in the end of this room is facing south rather than north, which has it face away from the majority of the room.
And it's kind of immediately noticeable type of thing.
Oh yeah, so I mean it looks like it just seems odd.
What? Shaw will just point it out, because at this point, why not just have a conversation, right? Shaw will just say, why does that look weird? That just it looks off, right? Like, Catwin, are you saying that too?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Irina nods as well, like having noticed that it seems to be facing the wrong way. And Strahd says, why aren't you the perceptive one?
I mean, So what is wrong with it?
Just before I tell you, why don't we collect your friend? He clicks his tongue and
Elect my friend.
your friends click your
Oh.
friends. He clicks his tongue and a bat comes like fluttering down from the rafters, and he says to the bat, ask Escher to collect our guests in the dining hall, if you would. You hear the bat like chirp, and it flutters out the window into the rain. Let's cut over to the others. Go back downstairs.
There's a bat.
The otters.
The otter ones.
Others.
Hello from the otter side.
Yellow from the other side.
So Sasha has told you that Emil might be in the dungeons. Gertruda is definitely up in King's Suites.
Is there any additional way in and out of the dungeons?
She says there are several stairwells that will get you up and down from them.
Are there any entrances from the outside, like a dock or an underground passage,
Eller or something, maybe.
cellar? Yeah.
There are only two entrances in and out of the castle, the front entrance, and there is a second servant's entrance in the rear of the castle. And it's accessed through the servants' quarters and the kitchen.
Oh, yes, they must bring in the food through the kitchen.
She nods.
So you
When-
you said that you had a night that you said Strahd will be away. When is that happening?
Ugh.
Um, it's the next night? The next night, tomorrow night. Yes. She says, yes, Strahd will be out tomorrow night.
Is there a way where we could see the dungeon at some point tonight? Do you think that, I'm assuming that's someplace he wouldn't want to take us on a tour?
Yeah, she shakes her head. She says, I would not attempt to venture into the dungeons while he is in the castle. He would be most displeased.
So just kind of me remembering the conversation I had with the other werewolf in the cave. Did I have until tomorrow night to talk to Emil to fulfill my oath, or did I have
Yes.
to bring him back by tomorrow night
No, you have until tomorrow night.
to talk to him?
Yep.
And then figure out something. Okay. It's like, well, one more question. I had a question and I just completely forgot what it is.
Are you gonna ask about the dragon bones?
No, but you can ask about that while I try to think of my question if you want.
Oh, well, I don't know if I want to ask her about the dragon bones. Hmm. I'm going to approach Sasha so I can like see her more clearly through her veil. If I assume you can kind of see her through the veil.
Yeah, you can.
And I'm gonna kind of like gesture towards her, like as if I'm gonna like touch her on the shoulder, and I'm gonna ask her, how long have you been captive here?
She says, she kind of hangs her head a bit, and she says, I was Strahd's first bride, and we were wed over 4 centuries ago, after he lost his first love, Tatiana.
How did he lose Tatiana? Did he tell us this? I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. She shakes her head. She says, I do not know. What I do know is that Strahd grew tired of me, and when I dared to challenge him, he locked me away in a crypt for almost 400 years.
I have a question. Is the secret passage open still?
No, you heard the door close and the organ move back into place.
It's like,
Why would he lock you away? If you were his first bride?
She shakes her head and says, apparently I wasn't what he was looking for, and when I attempt to express my frustrations with how he was treating me, he decided that it would be easiest to simply lock me away.
And why did he let you out?
She shakes her head and says, I do not know. Perhaps to torment me further, because he simply acts as if it never happened and scoffs at my displeasure at his company.
That bastard.
Do you know if we are intended to stay the night tonight? That was the question I was going to ask.
She shakes her head and says, no, I believe he will send you back in the carriage this night.
Okay. How do we get a hold of you? Tomorrow.
She says, you will not be able to. We have been expressly forbidden to let anyone into the castle, and therefore I will not be able to actively help you. I am only able to provide you this information now while you are invited guests.
Is
So
there
how do you
anything else
propose
you
we
can...
get in?
Oh, yeah, how is there... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
How do we supposed to get in? Yeah.
Well, I've told you of the two entrances. Beyond that, you'll have to figure it out for yourself. I will tell you this over the table. She will kind of describe the layout of the interior of the castle a little bit to you, and I will, yeah. After you've done the tour tonight, I will fill in a little bit more detail with stuff you get from Tasha. But if there's anything else specific you want to ask her,
Right.
now's the time. But yeah, she says there's only the two entrances in and out of the castle.
Um,
So
what does
he's
Gertruda look like?
yeah.
She tells you.
And then you'll just put that in the notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Um,
so Sasha, he seduced you to live with him forever, only to lock you up and then marry other people.
She nods. She says, "Yes." Can you see why I wish to defy him?
Oh yeah.
How long have we been back here at this point? Like, I probably need to. I
Yeah,
need to
I
make it look
think.
like I ate some dessert.
Yeah, I think it's probably been 15-ish minutes. You're probably getting to the point where you think you probably need to not be gone anymore. You got time for another question or two, but not much.
Well, I'll tell Sasha, it's like, well, I probably should make it look like I've eaten some dessert before they get back. I don't have any further questions. I think we have a lot of planning to do and figuring out between our group. But Ilyana, do you have anything else?
Yeah. Well, Sasha, we'll do our best to avenge those he's wronged. Do you know of any other ways to stick it to him?
She shakes her head. She says, This is the best that I can offer. I am old and I am tired. There are two things that I wish to see before I die. The light of the rising sun, the death of Strahd von Zarovich. I cannot raise my hand against him myself, for I am bound to him in an unholy matrimony. But giving you this information is a step towards my goals, I think. I have one more piece of information for you, should you need it. Strahd's oldest passphrase is, I come in Dostran's memory. Oh, I don't know who Dostran is or whether Strahd still uses it as a password, but I believe him arrogant enough to believe that none in the castle are old enough to remember it.
Thank you. You
Well,
you haven't seen any dragon bones around, have you?
Her eyebrows raise a bit in surprise as you mention this, and she says, "Why, yes. In fact, there is a dragon's skull in basement chamber that Volenta has turned into an ossuary of sorts. It's behind the closed wooden doors west of the kitchens."
What's an ossuary?
It's a place where you store bones, child.
So behind the wooden doors in the kitchen?
West of the kitchen.
West
Oh.
of the kitchen.
Yeah, again, I'll give you that information with the map
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty anxious to get back to make it look like we were at the table, eating,
Well-
so he's not too suspicious of us.
Oh. An ossuary is a chest, box, building, well, or site made to serve as the final resting place of human or dragon skeletal remains.
Or dragon skeletal. She did say it's a place to keep bones. Sasha gestures at the. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. It'd probably piss him off if something were to happen to those. And I wink at Sasha.
She smiles a tight-lipped smile and nods, and she says, she kind of sees you're getting a little antsy as and she says, yes, I think it's time you get back. She gestures at the brazier or the sconce on the wall, and she says, pull that down. It will open the door.
Right.
Once you are out into the room, simply press the 6th pedal from the left, and it will return the organ to its position.
Pedal from left. All right, I do the same. I pull down the sconce.
Yep, the door opens and you see the back of the organ sliding away from you, kind of opening up the little passage out from behind it. And she turns and heads down the hallway here.
I'm just gonna take like whatever looks like maybe like a Danic or something that I can eat quickly and start eating it and making look like we've enjoyed our desserts. And
Yeah.
make sure we save some for Shaw and Catwin.
Yeah.
Pedal.
Yeah, as you press the pedal, the organ returns. And basically, like, as soon as you step up to the table, Eliana, and pick up another pastry, you hear the door open, and Escher steps in and says, good to see you are still here. Please, come. Strahd wishes you to rejoin the company.
All right.
We
I'm gonna ask,
gotta-
do you mind if we grab a few of these for our friends?
No, bring what you like.
Gesturing at- Okay, I'll bring the whole platter with.
Yeah.
Yay!
He kind of just stands there holding the door for you.
Asher is like the super young, like the newest of Strahd's.
Yes, very,
Consorts from what we
very,
could tell.
very, very suave dude.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And like maybe not completely in the thrall yet. He didn't get along with some of the other ones.
Or he might just be in the infatuation stage.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'll just give him like a slight nod as I walk with the desserts.
Yeah, he just gives you a smile and a wink as you step out. And then he lets the door close behind him, and then he gestures you to follow him this way.
Well, we're going up a different way.
Yeah, he leads you up the grand staircase. Oh, God.
So
dang it.
grand, so staircase.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, God. And he leads you up this staircase.
Quite the workout in here.
Castle.
Yep.
And you guys come out of these stairs right here.
Oh, that's not the right one. Oops. Giant Escher.
Not as big as Strahd's token. Kaboom!
Oh, he's so big.
He's
as
a
I come up,
chonk.
like, anybody want any of the extra desserts?
Ooh, yes.
Shaw's out of his walking snacks.
I want a cupcake.
Shall will
Ooh,
set the bone of the turkey leg that he has finished onto the
Dessert platter.
Onto the dessert platter.
All right, I'll kind
Irina,
of walk around and
do you
give
want
everybody a
a
dessert.
cupcake?
Yes, Irina will take a cupcake. And as you are all kind of mingling around, getting your cupcakes set, Strahd will say to you, Shaw, he says, when I was a child, I remember the day that Saint Andrel anointed my father as the rightful heir to the crown of old Zerovia.
Zerovia?
Yep. When King Barov died, I inherited his crown, and with it, the title of king. And he gets for the first time, you see just a hint of anger across his face. His brows knit just a bit, and his eyes kind of glow a little brighter red. And he says, however, when the mists descended upon Barovia, the lands I conquered were consigned to history, and my family's ancestral legacy forsaken and lost. It would be an arrogance beyond folly to name myself king without a kingdom to rule. And he points at the throne, and he says, so I keep the king's seat turned from my reach as a memento to the lands that I lost. And his voice softens just a bit, and he says, and yet, few things are lost forever. And I think that's where we'll end the session.
Baby.
All right. I love Strahd. He's so
Oh
cool.
my gosh. Strahd's a complicated man.
How long did it take you to put all of the
Shadows on there.
shadow on these maps, Mike?
Guys, I'm only halfway done.
Jesus.
Holy shit.
Hours.
God,
So
I think
tricky.
it did take him a long time.
There.
Hours. It's probably I've probably put close to an hour into it, and I probably still have like another hour to go.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
'Cause
just
there
for my
are-
small map, this still takes a little while.
There are let's see, how many floors, how many maps are there total?
There's lots
for
of
this?
clicking involved when he
Yeah.
has to put the fog in.
There are
That's
2,
Strahd
4,
is so
6, 8,
tricky
10.
because
There's
like you want to lie to him, but you can't. But you do, but you don't want to. But like you
He's a
kind of get where
schmoozer.
he's coming from, but he's not. Like it's like I don't know.
there's 10 levels of maps for the castle.
Holy
And
shit.
I've got fog
Sheesh.
on 4 of them.
Oh my god.
He's charismatic. Well, we have another session next Monday, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I'm good. I think after we finish the Dinner with Strahd arc, which is probably another session or 2, I might want to switch to doing every other week rather than weekly.
That's fair.
Between
We want to alternate between one shots and Strahd. Like, I'm okay still doing weekly and doing other stuff, unless you want that time back.
that I would actually be fine with. It's the prep time.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
I'm-
for sure. Let's have you play a little bit more and just get to hop on and enjoy it like we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
then
would be totally
maybe-
fine with.
Cam and I can switch off, or Carly and Amanda, if you guys want
I'd be
to
down with that.
ever DM one. We can add a
Yeah.
little flavor to to the
Leave a
gaming
player.
session.
Well, let me get
But I
the.
think we're gonna do 2024 rules for the next. Or
Yeah,
Cam's
remember,
thing.
new rules.
Yeah. I think this is for this doing new rules. It'll be kind of nice for each of us to kind of bring a character to teach each other what that one does.
Yeah.
level
Can
3, so
we
you get
can
kind
we
of the
just make a
basics.
rule moving forward that all one shots will be 2024 rules?
Sure.
We
I'm
need to
fine-
adapt
I'm
to
fine
the
with that.
times.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
commit. We just gotta
think-
But if
commit
you want to
to it.
reuse some of your other characters, just make sure you update them to
Yeah. Yeah.
2024.
I
Certainly.
think that's helpful just because I think that's the easiest.
All right, y'all. Gonna get the stream shut down now. Thank y'all for hanging out.